Hello, I'm Evelyn Linwood. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. It's been a while since we had a writing vlog. I believe the last one was in November. I did update you guys with my goals. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below. My goals for 2026. And I have been working from I'm covering up a couple book titles. I have been working from the bullet journal spread that I showed you in that video, which marks off the milestones in all of my writing plans for the first quarter of the year. And it's coming along. I'm doing pretty well with it. I was a little behind at first, but I'm happy with my progress. So I've made some big jumps in Project Gold. I say that, but I'm literally still on the beginning of Act 2. But in my mind it's coming together. This is kind of a life of a pantser situation. I did have some trouble drafting in December. We said goodbye to my cat Sammy. Not that that's why. It was a busy month, and anyway, I have gotten back into it this month and chugging right along. I've written a few scenes, gotten through kind of the big sticking point that I was stuck in. For whatever reason, I was having trouble with one of the characters kind of break into two, like what their, not their drive, but and I knew the gist of their arc, but I didn't have details on what they were doing. So I figured that out. I have written a scene that kind of reveals a lot about one of the characters and what's going on in the background that is affecting the other two characters. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah, and then as for Project King, which I will not be focusing on in this vlog because I want this to be primarily about drafting, but a little update on Project King. I was stuck in chapter 14 for so long. Now, I'm still in chapter 14, but I'm halfway through it. And the thing is, I figured out what was making me stick. So I got very into Save the Cat at some point, and I was trying to make every point of view character have all of the beats from Save the Cat, which I think is good practice in general, but one character's beat can be covered by what's going on in another character's scene. So I was trying to add all these superfluous scenes that were just not needed. And so I was sitting there staring at it, putting it off, or poking it and then not doing anything. And I just kind of figured out that there were a handful of scenes that were just not necessary, and I pulled them, and it's so much stronger for it, and I'm moving forward again, and I'm really happy. So that's the big Project King update, and you won't hear about that until the next, editing vlog or author day in the life. Okay, so, Project Gold. I am really getting excited because we are entering the fun and games portion of the book, where it's just kind of I'm excited. I'm happy that one of the characters is getting into, well, both of the my main character is getting into her story. And the character that I introduced, that I was Ilana, the first one I introduced, is also getting into her story. So I'm having fun kind of trying to tie the two together a little more, because Kira and Rose are very clearly interlinked, because Rose is her aunt, and they're both in the same location, but I want to kind of tie the two together, and that's what I'm working on. And I'm also working on getting more information to Kira about kind of the situation at hand, but I got to do it in a drip, drip, drip so that she doesn't just run off and fix it, or break it, more likely. Try to fix it and break everything. Maybe I should just let her. No. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm getting into it, and I'm actually going to do some writing now. So stay tuned. Okay, so where I stand with Project Gold. This week, my main goal was to get the kind of B story. That's just what Save the Cat calls it. What it actually is just like all these point of view characters are going to have a character arc. They're going to change in some way. What I need to nail down is the mechanism of that change. It doesn't have to be a person, but in this case, all of them, it's actually a person. So I did just figure this out like literally 5 minutes ago. I kind of knew for two of them, but so Kira's, I've given her a friend who is on the surface, seems to be reckless, almost dangerous in the way that she uses her magic. And she's not quite what she appears as far as that goes. Like, she's definitely someone who learns from her mistakes and takes responsibility. And just putting her in Kira's life is going to help Kira deal with the kind of fallout from the previous book. I hinted at it, but I didn't quite reveal everything. That's definitely... she may have messed up. Anyway, so I have that person in Kira's life. I've already put her in. I do need to build her out a little bit because she's kind of flat right now, but that sometimes happens in first drafts. And then, which is funny because she's so vibrant in my head, it just hasn't made it onto the page. And then for Rose, I think that her person is actually Kira. They're borderline foils for each other. Probably if you were like taking a high school English class and you were trying to BS an essay, you could absolutely make them foils. I mean, we've all done it. Yeah. And then Ilana, I had a couple of ideas for her, but I think she's going to have kind of two mechanisms. So she has one person who's kind of, in a way, actually kind of a foil for her, now that I'm thinking about it. And then she has another person who is just kind of her opposite. And she's actually kind of jealous of this person, but she's going to learn from her. So I've kind of given her twin. She needs to be hammered over the head with her lesson because she starts off, boy, does she start off bitter and obnoxious. Please be patient with her. yeah, so that's where I am with that. And then I've been trying to write a scene, and I'm struggling a little bit with the scene because I wanted to have all the, like, the impact, the wonder, the magic that I experienced when I first read the scene where Harry Potter went to Diagon Alley. Now, this book is nothing like that, but it's just, it's the impact of that scene that I want in my book. And I know that I'm not going to quite get it. I'm certainly not going to get it in the first draft. I actually put a note in brackets as I was trying to draft the scene that's what I was going for. So future me can try and get it better. Yeah. Ooh, might be easier to do. Yes. New note. Okay. I had a great idea. Okay. So I'm doing that, and Kira is, advancing to the next level of her magical studies. So that's kind of what that scene's about. And what do I have? Go away, little bar. I have like 300 words on that page, and it's not going. But that's okay, it'll happen. I do have some notes. I think I need to figure out Kira's actual schedule, because her routine has definitely changed. And while you guys don't necessarily need that on the page, I, as the author, need to know what she's doing on a daily basis. Yeah, so I need to do that kind of separate for myself. And then the last thing that I think I need before I really can push forward in the story is I need to know what my midpoint is. I am a discovery writer, so I have 3 separate outlines for each character, but they are A, very loose, and B, very empty. So like the start of them are filled in. And then I have one that's combined, and that one is a little more like I'm putting that scene by scene. But again, that only kind of goes up to where I am in the book. So I really do feel that I need to figure out the midpoint before I move forward much more, because the whole next chunk of book, like probably 40 pages or something, is just going to be me building to the midpoint. And I can't really do that blindly. I need to know at least the midpoint. I know what I want the ending to be. I know what I want each character to be how I want each character to change. Why am I looking over here instead of at you? I know what I want the character arcs to be. I know what I want the ending to be, roughly. And then I don't know the midpoints. But I think it'll probably be actually 3 separate midpoints, one for each character. But Kira's is definitely the most important. She is the character with the most page time. She is the main character. There's just 2 side characters who are also experiencing things. So I think that's my next target, is just figure out what's the midpoint, especially Kira's. I actually think I might combine her and Alana's. I was thinking about having like a midpoint party. Not that that's a requirement, but it'd be nice to get a bunch of characters together and have like a big event happen for all of them. And I have a little bit of an idea about that. But I also have a secondary idea that would work for Kira, so I'm going to sit on it a little bit and just kind of try and build out her daily life and work on Ilana, because I know what Ilana's doing. And then I think Rose is going to fade in the background a little bit while I'm working, because I don't need to know, nobody needs to know what she's up to for a little while. She might kind of skip the next little chunk of the book. She'll appear in like Kira's scenes because they're in the same location, but there's nothing that Rose is doing that we need to know about as we experience the story. Anyway, after that rambling talk, if you're still here, thanks for watching. This is kind of my chaotic approach to drafting. I am making progress. Sometimes it doesn't sound like it, but I still kind of expect to finish this book in the next couple months, at least the first draft. The real goal is by March 28th. So, yes, that's not technically the end of a month, but I'm trying to break up my year a little differently. Cyclic planning. Whew. So, that's the goal. I think I'm on target for it. I mean, technically I have, what do I have? I have 23,806 words. And that is, not that many. But I do expect to get around 90,000 for the book. And I have done 50,000 in a month, no problem. So I've actually done 70,000 in a month once. But I don't think that's not the ideal pace for me. So 35,000 in a month, that I can absolutely do. And I do have February and March. So I think that I'm on track. And I'm still working on my edit, which is actually seeing a lot of progress, but I will talk to you about that in a different video. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.